All righty. Howdy, howdy. Get on here a little bit. What's going on, Mr. Christopher Ham? All right. Do you have yourself your nice frosty beverage in hand? All right. I got 3 people going. Like I said, on just a little bit early so we can always get everything started ahead. Get going here. Make sure everything's working right and sounding good. All that jazz. It was a beautiful day here today. I don't know how it was for everybody else. But it was nice. See, Chris is having headset issues on my end, still turning crap on and off. Jeez. Yeah, I hate that. I hate when things connect, disconnect, connect, then they connect to other things. I can't figure out where they're going. Man. Got the windows open, fans going, pulling this nice air through the house. It's about time that we had such beautiful weather here. It's getting tired of it being cold and then rainy and cold and rainy. I feel like Dana and I would have already at least been out on our kayaks once already, most of the time, most years, but this year we were still having some winter weather during May, so the water is nice and old, ice cold. I know the dogs wouldn't care, but when you have dogs like ours that jump in, swim, then climb out, and then jump back in and swim and climb in, you're never really dry, so it gets it to where it's gets a little chilly quick. Hey, Amanda. How's it going? I want to thank you again for noticing that I had forgot to post anything. I got so caught up in doing a couple other things that I completely missed that one. So thank you. See, hold on one second. I'm going to grab something real quick here. So they're not in yet or anything, but for those of you who did order some, this is what the shirts will look like, the color scheme, and it'll be on black shirts, black t-shirts. The lettering on the back is going to be a little different, but it'll say this, but we changed the lettering because of the way the T looked in the name. Unless you took a really close look, it looks like killed canine. So basically, that's how we train your dog, I guess. If he doesn't do right, then we just rub him out. So, but so as soon as those are ready, the people who ordered some, I will let you know. That was the exact color scheme that it should. No, that's not the color scheme. Sorry, it's green. My bad. Jeez, man, I'm losing my mind. Hold on, it's not red. It's green. I'm going crazy. Give me a second. Wow. There. Found it. Found it. Hold on. Jeez, man. There. It's this color, green. My bad, but it's that same logo color and everything, green. Yes, I know, babe. I realized after I showed that it was a red one. And then I was like, crud, that's not it. So yes, but it's green. It's that color. But like I said, the lettering on the back, it'll say the same information. It's just we had to do a little changing because of the way it looked when you read it. So, see, I got a few people on here. All right. We'll give it just another minute here, and then I will get started. Make sure I got everything out to everybody. All right. Let's see here. This has the possibility of being probably the shortest ones that I do, but we'll see. You know, famous last words, right? All right. We will go ahead and get started and see if anybody joins afterwards. All right. Today's topic is, this is by suggestion of Amanda. Like I said, anybody out there, if you got anything you'd like me to cover, that'd be awesome, because I like to cover topics that you are interested in. And away we go. So, do you know when your dog is stressed? All right, there are a lot of signs. I guess I am reconnecting here. Hold on, just in case. For some reason, my connection is bad. There we go. Sorry, guys. Apparently, I was having a connection issue there. All right. Hey, Mom. You're on but driving. Okay. Well, at least you made it. Just be careful. So, all right. So, there are a lot of signs of stress. You know, some of them all by themselves might not mean anything. It could be, you may have to look at the dog. A lot of times you have to look at the dog as a whole and the situation. That's just, yeah, I don't know. We're having bad issues today, I guess, because I went from, my views dropped all of a sudden. So I'm assuming that there was a bad connection. But just remember, you know, look at the dog as a whole. So on everything that's doing, it might not be one particular sign. If you're not sure, look for some of the other signs together. And some of these you may not even realize that they're signs of stress. So one of them is excessive shedding. You know how I know? I mean, if your dog, if you got like a shepherd or a husky, they're going to probably shed a lot anyways. But you can tell when they are just shedding like crazy. Simple examples like going to the vet's office. Whenever you take your dog to the vet's office, all you have to do is like touch them and you're just wearing them. Hair everywhere as you're petting them and they're sitting there. When they get up and move, there's just a pile of hair on the ground. So excessive shedding is definitely one example. See, body stiffening. So if they lock up and freeze, and they don't move, and they just kind of sit there, a lot of times that's a sign that they're stressed as well, because they're kind of standing there hoping that if I don't move, maybe nobody will notice me. I'll just kind of sit over here, not make sound, not do anything. And so they're kind of just trying to fade into the background and not be noticed. Another one is yawning, excessive yawning. Yes, I know dogs, they can yawn like we do when we're tired, but just yawning nonstop for no reason, which seems like for no reason at all, doesn't mean they're tired or that they're bored. I mean, I guess they could be bored of you, but that doesn't necessarily mean. If it's excessive yawning, that is a sign of stress. You may see that even in a vet's office, or if you got a dog that has a lot of anxiety, they'll yawn a lot just out of nowhere. Stretching, as in overly stretching, like constantly stretching here, stretching there. It's a sign of stress. People sometimes will get a little tense, so they need to stretch it out. If you think about that, some of these on the list, humans do these as well. We just, for some reason, tend to notice them and know what they are, I guess, because we can kind of sympathize for the situation, but we don't pick these up a lot of times in dogs. Ears back, pinned back to their head. That's a simple one for to notice. You can see that a lot of times. That's also kind of paired with the big moon eyes, where you can see the whites of their eyes. Their ears will be pinned back, and you can see the eyes. They're just kind of glaring at you on the side of their eyes, because usually you don't see the whites of the dog's eyes like that. Panting. For it seems like no reason. Sometimes I've seen people a lot of times, and the people will say, "Oh, are you hot, baby? I think my dog's hot." When it's not hot outside, they're just panting because they're stressed. Let's see, what do we got too? Accidents, like potty accidents. Sometimes dogs will submissively pee, or if they're really, really stressed out, just like us, or like some people, it affects their bowels. A good example is my wife and I do a lot of running events, and before most running events, the porta potties, right before it's time to start, the porta john lines are miles back. Why? Because everybody's anxious and their anxiety's up, and so it's kind of a form of stress, really. So they're all in the bathroom at one last time. So dogs can have the same problem as well. That they're stressed out, that it makes them have to go to the bathroom. Destructive behavior. So, and the reason being is because behavior destroys things. It's a very big stress reliever. I've talked about this before, that separation anxiety, they'll get a hold of like your favorite shoes, or eat a pair of your underwear or a bra or whatever. Well, they're relieving stress, and they're chewing on your favorite item because it smells the most like you. So while they're relieving the stress, it's relieving your smell, releases your smell out there, so it kind of has a calming effect on them. So you'll have your destructive behaviors. Sweaty paws. Dogs get sweaty paws. That's where they perspire out of, is their paws. So like you have some people, they get nervous, they get sweaty palms. Or you'll see, or a lot of people, they get nervous and they just get sweaty all over. Their shirts are all, it's always in movies where, to show that somebody's stressed out, especially in a comedy, they're drenched. Their shirt's always soaked through, armpits all under here, just soaked all the way down, their back, everything. Dogs do the same, but they only sweat out of their feet. So you may see a dog walking across the floor and you're seeing little footprints, and it could be because he's stressed out, possibly. So it's another one. Let's see what else we got here. I kind of went out of order for a reason here. So I had them in order, but then I realized I didn't want to go there yet. So hold on. It can cause, signs of stress can be illness. Just like when people who are severely stressed out can start to look old. They'll look old early. Their stomachs are always bothering them. Their digestive system is off, which can also cause potty issues, like go nature. So I mean, just like in people, dogs can show stress through health issues. Uh, Head turns. A lot of times people think it's cute. They get in their dog's face like this, and their dog turns their head away like this, and turns their head away like that. It's usually an uncomfortable situation. Being in a dog's face is not very polite. Even if it's your own dog, some dogs don't want it. They don't like it. It's a threatening gesture. So you getting in their face, even though you're the owner, if they're turning their head like that, they're finding that as threatening, but because they have a respect mixed with a light fear of you, because they will turn their heads. A lot of people think it's cute. Look at my dog, get down there, and he turns away like that. Well, you may be stressing your own dog out. So keep that in mind. I tell people, running up and getting in a dog's face when they don't want you to, that's why it's very rude. It'd be like me running up to somebody, or you running up to somebody that you don't know and just kissing them. More than likely, it's going to get you a punch in the mouth. So if not, at least a bunch of expletives blurted out at you. See, blinking, over excessive blinking. People will sometimes do this. They'll just blink a lot, or dogs will squint like this a little bit. They'll squint at you. They're just, yeah, cats are good at. Yes, they are, Chris. Cats are good at that too. But they'll blink a lot. Let's see. I mentioned the moon eyes. The paw lift and they move the body away. So have you seen the dogs lift their one paw up like this, and they kind of twist their body away from you? That's a sign of stress. They're trying to back up out of your way. They're just kind of lifting out and kind of getting away from you. So make sure you pay attention to that too. Some people think it's cute. And that's what's so funny about several of these. People think it's funny and they think it's cute. They don't realize that. I have a feeling they don't realize that is a sign of stress. Lip licking. They will lick their lips out. There's constantly just licking at the air of some sort. They just stress comes out in the form of lip licking. Jeez, oh man, try to say that like 3 times real fast. All right, now I'm going to go back up here. So, let's see. Where am I at here? Excessive sniffing. Sniffing for no reason. Some people think that their dog is out there sniffing the ground because they're tracking or they're doing this. Well, yeah, dogs like to smell things. That is true. But dogs usually, it is more natural for a dog to hold their head up and smell the air than it is to just sniff the ground. Now, they may sniff the ground like around a tree or something. That's a little different because there could be from dogs peeing and stuff like that. But just putting your head down and sniffing this grass and sniffing that grass. I've had a lot of people go, I think my dog would be great at tracking or something like that because he's always sniffing the ground. There's a difference between just sniffing for something like that and actually tracking. Dogs track naturally by air scenting. Sniffing the ground is not a natural event for them. So sniffing the ground is actually them trying to do something to avoid the issue at hand. So if I get over here and start sniffing, maybe they'll leave me alone because I look like I'm doing something. They're kind of trying to outsmart you in a way. Because a lot of times when we see our dog sniffing, we let them go. So it's an avoidance issue, and we let them sniff. I've seen people where their dogs will start sniffing, and I'm trying to do a lesson, and they'll come up to me, and I'll get talked to them, and their dog starts sniffing, and the dog starts walking in the opposite direction, and they just like, oh yeah, and they let the dog just pull them away as they sniff because the dog is nervous and doesn't want to be around. So they're letting the dog control the situation, and they just literally think that the dog has a scent and it's trailing something. No, it's trying to avoid what's happening because its temperament is not a very strong temperament. So, and another one I saved this one for last because this one I talk about a lot in training. Refusing to eat. So I use a lot of food in training because I think it's a great way to train. I can get a lot of repetitions and rewards in very quickly. I do use toys and stuff, of course, but I like to use treats. Most animals will eat a treat, and it's fast and done with quickly. Well, if you have a dog that normally kills its food, like it hasn't eaten in weeks or it's never going to eat again, but you take it somewhere and you offer it a piece of freaking steak, and it's like, nope, nope, and it's kind of looking around and sniffing and doing some things on this list, then he is very highly stressed. My dogs are all very seriously motivated, food motivated. One of the ways I can tell if there is something wrong with my dog, whether they're sick or they're very stressed, is if they do not eat. Like I said, not taking food is a very big thing. That's why I love to have food motivated dogs, because then I can gauge the level of stress they're having. So in terms of training, if I'm in the house and they're eating food like crazy, I go out in the backyard and they're eating food like crazy. I go to the front yard and they're like, that tells me we need to work on this. This is highly stressful. So we need to figure out what we need to do to get you to where it's not so stressful out there and you learn to work with it. So refusing to eat is a very, very big sign. Let's see. Oh, shoot. I forgot I had two more on the back, so I didn't say that one to the last. Rolling on the back and submitting. A lot of people will see their own dogs will do it, and they'll lean over to do something, or they've yelled at the dog rolls over and submits. And you'll see a lot of videos of dogs rolling over and submitting like that, and people are laughing, and they think it's funny and think it's cute. Most of the time when a dog rolls over to submit, and I'm not talking about rolling over to get a belly rub or anything like that's completely different, but rolling over to submit, they're afraid of you. So now that doesn't necessarily mean you did something like beat them or somebody else beat them to make them this way. It could be just genetic. So keep that in mind, that if your dog rolls over and submits like that, rolling over and submitting like that is basically giving up. They don't care what happens to them. So basically it's like, you could kill me, eat me, whatever, for all I care. I'm giving up. So keep that in mind when the dog rolls over and submits. Sometimes some of them will even roll over, submit, and then pee a little. So just remember that. And then one more, shaking and shivering. You'll see some dogs that just shake. That's Beetle's default. Yeah. It rolls over. She rolls over to submit a little bit. She'll, hey, I give up, everybody. But when they're not cold, when they obviously shouldn't be cold. Now, keep in mind, just because we're cold doesn't mean the dog is cold. A dog's body temperature runs, I think, around 101, 102. Correct me if I'm wrong, Amanda. But we may be freezing with a coat on, and a dog just barely got any hair. He's still going to be warm or find it somewhat comfortable. So that's why a lot of times you'll see something just shaking constantly. It's a lot to handle such cold temperatures compared to us. Oh, hold on. For some reason, there we go. Sorry, I had another bad connection there, guys. I lost you for a minute. But like I said, shaky, shiver. But it could also be an excitement. Like I said, Amp. Dan's dog, Amp. Little terrier. Wound to the T. Always ready to with us. For a 20-pound little tiny dog, he'll run 40 miles while we ride bikes and still is ready to go. When you have him hold still to tell him to sit her down, he just starts shaking and he'll start. That's excitement. That is him trying to contain himself and staying just this side of exploding from excitement. So that right there, that isn't a sign of fear or stress. That is a sign of I'm about to die if somebody doesn't let me get up and run around like an idiot. So those are some of the signs. And like I said, these can be combined. So look at the overall dog. and see what's going on. You know, dog, if your dog yawns, but that's all he does, he yawns one time and he keeps going about his business, and you don't see some of the other signs, it might not be stress. You know, but some of these you can tell if you by themselves, like I said, rolling over on the back, lifting the paw and going back to moon eyes like this. I mean, the stiffening of the body, stuff like that those are definitely signs of stress. So, and then you have what you do. You have your shake off afterwards. Like, have you ever seen, like, when a dog leaves a stressful situation, they'll turn around and just shake off, kind of like they leave the vet. It's almost like they're shaking it all free. So you can also tell that the stress is over because they kind of shook it off, basically. As Baton's et al. Alrighty. Well, if anybody has anything, just go ahead and put it down there even when I get talking again. I'm going to take this time real quick. Thank everybody who's watching this now or later on, you know, after it's been, you know, on the rerun. I want to remind everybody to please like if you like it, subscribe, share, all that kind of jazz. And once again, thank you, as always, for being here on Wednesday. So, all right. So, things that can cause stress. Now, there's a lot of things. This is just kind of a basic, probably the most, you know, common things that cause stress. Change a routine. Some dogs like a routine. They like a schedule. You know, around here, our schedule is there is no schedule. It's just because it's a hectic household, but at the same time, I do it on purpose because I don't want my dogs to get so set on something that if something is off for any reason, then they're off. I started doing that years ago when I started doing working style dogs, and I wanted to make sure that you know, not eating every day at 5 o'clock didn't bother them, or going to bed at this time, or getting up this time, or, you know, or anything, that it didn't bother them because it was a change of routine. There are some dogs that literally, if you feed them an hour later, when they'll realize that they don't know it's 5 o'clock, they just know that this time every day. Dogs are phenomenal about this, about telling internal time, that they'll start freaking out. They'll stress, they'll pace back and forth. Sorry, that's one I didn't even think about on here. Signs of stress is pacing. Pacing is another one. But some dogs will get pacing and doing stuff. So, remember that. Change your routine. Get a new job and you work longer, or you leave at a different time, come home at a different time. All that stuff some dogs, that can affect them. It can throw them off. Like moving furniture around. Simple stuff like that we might not even think about can throw them off. And then with that being said, move your house, move to a new neighborhood, everything. If your dog, especially if your dog was possibly born there in that house and has been there all its life, and then you up and just go somewhere else. I mean, heck, a lot of people stress out during the move. So if we're stressing out during the move, our dogs may be stressing out as well. So, you know, think of that too. That's something that can cause stress. Not enough exercise. Got to burn that energy off. Most dogs were bred for a job. Now we've taken them and taken their jobs away from them and brought them into our house. And we got dogs who genetically are used to running or working 8 to 12 hours a day, maybe even more. And now they don't have to look for their food. They don't have to work for their food. They go on 20-minute walks, or a 20-minute ball throw, and that's it, or a walk around the block. I walk my dog 5 miles every day. Yes, but 5 miles from, they need to be moving. They need to be running. They need a hard exercise. So stuff like that, like not enough exercise. So keep that in mind. If you've got a greyhound, walking him around the block a couple times is not going to do anything for him. We have, let's see. Yes, genetics. Yes, of course. Like I said, you get some of these working dogs. I've got Dutch Shepherds. I've had Malinois. They are a herding breed, and they hang from chandeliers in the household if you don't give them something to do. They will stress out. And when they stress out, they may chew themselves. They'll chew their crates. They'll freaking chew the house. Everything. So remember that. Just because you might think 5 miles is something, you got a dog that's used to doing, a 12-hour day. Just think of the mileage he probably covers, plus everything else that's going along with it. And we expect them to be okay with that. Even your tiny little dogs, they had a job of some sort. So with that being said, we'll work into this. Not enough mental stimulation. It kind of goes hand in hand with exercise. You've got to mentally stimulate them. Now remember that too. They may have worked 8 to 12-hour days, but they also had some mental stimulation going on. They had to think about what they were doing. If they were herding dogs, they had to watch the sheep. They had to pay attention to the handler, all that stuff. So they were also mentally working besides physically working, which everybody knows that mentally working sometimes can tire you out just as fast or just as much as physically working. You'll be exhausted. So mental stimulation, like I said, training. If you don't have enough mental stimulation or training, same thing happens. New animal. Bring a new dog in the house. You got an old dog. Maybe been the only dog its whole life, and he's freaking old. And you bring some little bitty tiny something in the house that does nothing but want to chew on your old dog's face and chase it around and bark at him and jump on him and steal his food and his toys and everything else. Yeah, it's going to be stressful probably. Some dogs just don't handle it. They don't like it. So that's stressful. Even some young dogs, some young dogs don't like it. Or if you got a dog that has fear issues or anxiety issues anyways, you bring in something new like that, you can blow his mind. So keep that in mind. A new human in the family. It could be a new baby. Baby being born can make a big difference. Some dogs don't know what to do with it. There's something weird and strange and loud and smelly and moves weird and does all this crazy stuff that he's never seen before and is now here in this house, and it's there all the freaking time. So that can cause stress. A marriage, new husband, new wife, or it could even come, maybe they're, stepkids. Now you got a dog who's like, he may be used to your own kids, but what if he doesn't really like other kids so much? Now these kids are always in the freaking house. So it could be something as simple as that, like a marriage could even stress it out. Alone too much, which kind of goes with not enough stimulation, mental or physical. Too much alone time. Dogs by nature are a pack animal. Yes, you do have the occasional one that doesn't really give two shits if you're there or not. Dana used to talk about her old dog Shady. She used to say it wasn't her dog, it was her roommate. Shady had her own couch. She didn't sleep in the bed. If she was in the bed and Dana came in there and looked at her, she got out of the bed and laid in the floor. She just, but by nature, most dogs are pack animals. Our dogs like to sleep with us. They crawl up and basically they crawl up and crawl all over Dana and trap her. But they want to be around us. So too much alone time. There's no stimulation in being alone. It's boring. Running around the yard, barking at nothing. So remember that. Overworked and overtrained can be stressful. If you don't give them some time off and let them relax, you can overwork them. And training too long and too much, especially when they're young. You take a young dog, and it could be young in age or young in training or new to training. You work it too much, you can stress it out, and you'll take the fun out of it, in which case then it makes it stressful. Loud noises. Some dogs don't like storms. Fireworks, things of that nature. And fireworks are not natural. It's weird. So I've seen a lot of dogs that they don't care about thunderstorms. They don't care about guns going off. But fireworks, something about fireworks going off bothers the crap out of them. They just can't take it. I don't know if there's, something natural about some of the others, or maybe it has some kind of a sonic boom or smell. Who knows what it is? But, loud noises can stress them out. Confusion and misunderstanding. So lack of communication can also be another one. And that can be in anything from training to everyday life. Telling your dog to do something, but it doesn't understand what it's supposed to be doing, and you start correcting it, but does it really know it, or do you think he should know it? Because if he doesn't really know it, you're going to cause stress because he's not going to understand what he's supposed to be doing. So you're going to be punishing him whatever form or fashion it is, whether you correct him with a collar or no food or no praise or telling him bad dog or whatever. That can create confusion as well, because they don't understand what they're supposed to be doing. So keep that in mind as well. Confusion and misunderstanding. We have to teach them properly before they know, right, and understand it. Any questions on this? Like I said, these are signs and causes of stress. I could probably do a whole nother section on things to do about certain situations, stress, where this and how long this exactly might take. So I wanted to kind of just go on signs of stress. Like I said, pacing could be one. I didn't think about that. I've had dogs that pace back and forth. I have one now. She paces because the world is stressful. Her, it's genetics. That's just the way she was born. So she stresses. So, trying to think if there's anything else that I might have missed out here. No, I think I got it all. Anybody? Questions, anybody? If not, then I'm just going to say thank you, everybody, again. I appreciate it for showing up. So, and we'll be back again next Wednesday, same time, 6 o'clock. We'll cover a new topic. I haven't decided what it is yet. So if anybody's got any suggestions, please put them in the comments. I always try to get back and read any comments or answer any questions that may be in the comments. If you have any questions on this, please put them in the comments. I will be happy to answer them. So, all right. Well, if that's it, then we will close this up, and that'll be the end for the night. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for coming in. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.